again, I'm just going to say this is just my opinion that I always think about is Tupac's relationship with Suge, because his relationship was less than a year long. And my relationship was probably less than a year long. But um, again, this is just my opinion. I think Suge came. His timing was fucking perfect because Tupac was sort of left to rot at Dannemora, and I think Suge was probably the only one that had the foresight to get him out of there, and I guess had the balls to get him out of there, you know? I've heard people say that he actually got Pac out with Pac's own royalties or money against future royalties. Other people have said they spent the money on getting him out. A couple of record exec, well, one record exec to be specific, said that he paid for it. And, you know, I mean, I read that contract. I read the contract David Kenner signed. The problem with, I'll give Suge all the credit. I agree with you. I'll give Suge all the credit for getting him out, but I also give the credit to Suge for putting Pac in a situation that he got taken out. I think in the beginning, their fucked up business tactics, their drug-related business model allowed David Kenner to write a contract that was a total legally it wouldn't hold up. David Kenner was Suge's lawyer, he was Death Row's lawyer, and he was Pac's lawyer. Three-way conflict of interest. No other fucking person would be able. God, you guys are asking a bunch of questions. I want to fucking answer them all, but even Pac being careless, dude, I don't know. Every fucking time I saw him, he was wearing a vest. That night, September 7th, was extremely warm in Vegas, but I don't know. Him not wearing a vest was just a fucked up move. So in any event, Suge has to have some responsibility. Not that he would take responsibility, but he needs to be given some responsibility for the fact that Pac was taken out. Because if his paperwork was right, if his album deal was done, I didn't see Pac's dead body. I left the night before his mom took him off of life support. I left because my partner at the time begged and pleaded for me to come back, and the nurse had said Pac was just a little better. He had almost died 2 or 3 times during the 6 nights that I was there. Like on the second or the third night, at maybe 2, 3 in the morning, the nurse came out and said, "Boy, that brother of yours, Tupac, he's a fighter, because I almost lost him and I gave him 500 cc's. I don't know what it was, adrenaline or what, but she was able to snap him back. But he almost had cardiac arrest a few times." So yeah, Suge, he's Pac. Suge never loved Pac. Yeah, look, I think Suge was a Svengali in that, like Geppetto and the fucking wood Pinocchio. I think Pac was vulnerable as fuck when it came to father figures. And Pac was very impressionable and probably wasn't the best gauge of figuring out who to trust or who not to trust. One of the last things that Pac told me was in a meeting where he said, In 6 months, no one's gonna recognize me because I'm gonna act like such an adult. In fact, I might run for mayor of Los Angeles because the politicians and the cops in this country are the biggest gangs. So, Death Row 100% got made because of Pac. I don't think Suge or even Dre on their own were heavy enough weights as artists. Tupac brought a whole fucking different level. Tupac brought, because sorry, I don't know where it dropped out on me, but I was basically saying Pac wasn't gang related. He wore blue, he wore red, he wore whatever the fuck he wanted. I think he probably had allegiance to Suge because that seemed the right thing to do. I do believe Pac's dead. Rest his soul. Because as I've said many times, I don't think he'd quiet this long. But I do remember hearing Buckshot after Pac had died. Uh, uh, and Buckshot was with him in New York a few days before Vegas. Was it a few days or a week? And he said Pac was whispering and looking over his shoulder the whole fucking time. So he kind of knew the shit he was in. Because we had sent a letter firing David Kent 2 weeks before Vegas. So some shit was about to go down. Who would know, but Pac was ready to fly the fucking coop. He had fulfilled his 3 album deals and made more. You know, I think he would have flown off. And I wonder if that's why he did a double CD, so that would count as 2 albums. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what the answer to that is, but he had a whole host of content that he would have bounced with. But I think Pac fucked up that he didn't use sort of the proper strategy, you know? I think Dre gave up a bunch of songs, and that's why he was able to leave with his life. I think Pac should have done some shit like that as well, you know? Because when you're fucking dealing with vultures, you're going to get bit. And at the end of the day, you know, Suge's no fucking Boy Scout. Never was. And I wish to God Pac would have seen that. I wish to God he knew. I wish he had better advice, I guess. You know? So I only saw him, for whatever the fuck reason, I didn't want to go into his room. Maybe I was just afraid of what I would see, but I went on the 5th night, and, you know, he was fucked up, dude. He was fucked up. He had water on the brain, so his face was normal, but his head was fucking huge. So, you know, but his body was the same. He just had fucking gauze wherever he had a gunshot wound, like his whole right side was all bandaged up where his lung was. He was missing a finger, and it was just, I forget which finger it was, but it was just closed up where the finger would be. And, you know, all I could do that night was just go up, put a hand on his arm. It was cold as fuck. And I guess it was because all the fluids going through him, but I just said a prayer, and then that was it. I don't know about the autopsy. The autopsy picture looks like him. You know, Kathy Scott, is that the chick that got it? I have a lot of favorite tracks on All Eyes on Me, but my one of all time favorites, Gangsta, 2 of America's Most Wanted, because that was the first video I ever directed for Pac, with Pac. So, you know, ain't nothing but a gangsta party. That was the shit. That experience right there was life changing for me. Because I remember in the middle of it, we were shooting at a club called The Gate on La Cienega in LA. And I'd been to that club many times with my buddies, which was funny, but we had locked the whole place down. It was a 3-day shoot. Two of America's Most Wanted was a 3-day shoot. And we only filmed 2 days. And at the end of the second day, Pac walked up to me and he goes, "Hey, Gove, I'm not coming tomorrow. You already got a video." I was like, fuck! We had a whole other day worth of shit that I wanted to film, but he was like, "You got enough for a video." So, Two American Most Wanted, what you see is 2/3 of the video, but it's still banging as fuck. I would have recut it a little differently if I could have, but so I remember there was a dolly shot at the gate when Pac and Snoop are sitting in a little alcove chair. It's like purple, I think, and the dolly's going in and out on the two of them, and they're just doing the hook and the chorus, "Ain't nothing but a gangster party," and they're playing with money. Pac smoking, and they're just fucking, they're fucking having a blast with it. And I remember right after that scene, I was so fucking geeked up that as soon as I called cut, I ran up to them and I go, "That's why you motherfuckers are multi-million making motherfuckers, because that shit was dope as fuck." I was so excited. And, shit, man. Some of the best experiences of my life. Some of my best experiences as a we need 5G speed. Yeah, I need better fucking reception. Can you hear me now? What was your question, Mr. All Caps? Stream died a minute ago. Am I back on? Sorry, I got a call. The wifey called. So, when the wifey calls, you gotta fucking jump. Anyway. Yeah, man. Two of America's Most Wanted. That was the most fun I've ever had directing something. But isn't Tupac script the whole album because Dog Pound stole some of it? I don't know. I had heard. Well, did you see Tupac dead's body? No, I didn't. I told you already. I didn't see Tupac dead. I heard Daz has got a bunch of tracks, but I also heard that when Pac was doing when he was doing All Eyes on Me album, that they scrapped a bunch of Dog Pound tracks and gave Pac the best beats. So I heard the Dog Pound was salty because of that. Oh, and on Two America's Most Wanted, Corrupt walked off with a suit that we'd rented for him. $5,000 suit. Everyone was biting Pac style, even Snoop. Yeah, I mean, look, all art is repetition. Tupac and Alanis Morissette were friends. They were best friends. They were great friends. That's the thing that people don't know about Pac was all the actors that he worked with fucking loved him. Mickey Rourke, Jim Belushi, Tim Roth. Saw him wheel Tupac out of the corners, man. Yeah, I mean, I heard all these theories that they fucking poisoned him. I don't know. Jamiroquai. I don't know. You're asking about Jamiroquai. I don't know what Jamiroquai's got. About the theory of Snoop pulling the head off. Yeah, man. I don't know about. I know Pac and Snoop were getting along, but and I kind of feel like Snoop probably knows more than he's letting on. But the problem with theories is there's all kinds of fucking theories. And I think the problem with the whole shooting with Pac is that since Compton and LA cops were so entrenched in it, they'll never let that shit come out. Why do you not see Pac's dead body? Why? Because I fucking wasn't there. I told you I left on the 6th night. So I wasn't there. And plus they cremated him within 24 hours. That was some fucked up shit. Um, we've seen a bunch of single takes of America's Most Wanted. Single takes of America's Most Wanted or single takes of Made Niggas? Because that was the other video that I directed. Um, yeah, I don't know about East Coast, West Coast, but yeah, East Coast, West Coast, but yeah, a lot of shit doesn't add up. A lot of, I wish the truth would come out. I hope that created out of not spoken up on Pac. I mean, I'm ready to fucking go. I'm trying to share as much as I can about who he was and how he was, and I got a bunch of projects planned. But I'm just one person. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of motherfuckers out there that have longer relationships. Quickly after the show, why did Nate Dogg leave Vegas? I mean, I don't know. Nate Dogg was the one that told us Pac and Suge had been shot at 662. I mean, you know, I heard Frank Alexander was kind of on lockdown at Suge's house. He couldn't even come to the hospital. Use auto tuner. Would Pac? No. I mean, look, the only thing that Pac would have used auto tune for, maybe, because he wanted to sing, but he had a fucking horrible tune for, maybe, because he wanted to sing, but he had a fucking horrible singing voice. But yeah, man, I wish the truth would come out. Made Niggas was crazy. All the videos were crazy. Was Tupac double? I don't know about any double. Uh, if there was a body double, you'd think they'd fucking use him. There's no fucking way on this planet there was anyone that ever looked like Tupac's buddy double. I mean, I've seen the little mustache thing that someone pointed out in his two outfits. I don't know what that's all about, but maybe he shaved or I don't know. But no one could play Tupac. No one can body double Tupac. And if you think about it, how the fuck are they going to? Who is the guy cremated Pac? I don't know. I don't. You know. If you ask me questions, I don't know. You know. I don't know. I mean, um, all the shit with his murder, his assassination, his suspect. I didn't produce or direct. I'm not sure. I didn't direct Toss It Up. I'm not sure if it went through our production company or another production company. Um, all videos were different, but Pac's versus he was always on point, man. He wouldn't let me do more than 2-3 takes per setup. It was the Outlaws that always needed the extra takes. But like even on Made Niggas, when you see him, I told the DP to put Matty Libatique that shot all the Iron Man movies. I told him to put a handle in front of the lens and let Pac operate the camera himself. That's why it's so fucking dope and on point when he's moving. But the Outlaws couldn't do it. Outlaws, he was always getting frustrated with them, but it's funny because he was trying to get them to perform as well as he did himself, and man, I've never seen anyone perform or play. Yeah, yeah, Pac ain't alive. Sorry to break it to you. I wish to God he was. God knows if there's one person on the planet who wanted him to be alive, it'd be me, but he ain't alive. Bruce Lee ain't alive. Bob Marley ain't alive. Elvis ain't alive. Takes from America's Most Wanted. There's unused Buffy and Piggy. Well, no, what there's more of that I'd love to see. I think Tracy, my ex-partner, is the Made Niggas short film because there's a whole host that never got used in that. Regaining his focus on artist never the end and beginning to leave, trapping the fame in the rear view. Yeah, he was. He was ready to bounce. He had big plans. I had a 3-movie deal with him a week before he died. Um, so he was ready to bounce, dude. Well, Reggie was at 662. He was in the green VIP section. That was kind of weird. I've never been to a party show. That was the first time. Him and a whole bunch of his boots were at 662. But no, there was no airlifting to the hospital. You know, I mean, all of the rumors, the site. I mean, you know, that's all just. I mean, I don't know. It's just bull. Music, films. He would have done all of it. He would have done. He would have gone into politics, into films. He would have gone. He would have had his own label. I can't even imagine what he would have done. He wrote a script, Live to Tell, when he was in Dannemora. So, you know, fuck, he was only 25, man. 25 with all that under his belt. So eager. He was so eager to transform and get the fuck out from the drama. That's what he wanted. He wanted out of the drama. But unfortunately, I think it's the drama that took him away, you know? He didn't have enough guidance. He didn't have enough advice on how to handle his predicament. Probably, because look, I think all his love, the people he loved, he sort of pushed them away when he was on death row. Like Mac Mall, Ray Love, Big Psych. He kind of, I mean, Big Psych was in Two America's Most Wanted, but he sort of pushed away a lot of them. So, something about Pac sleeping. Pac was horrible to fall asleep and horrible to wake up. You know, his assistant Molly was always tasked to wake him up. And I used to hear that he was in a horrendous mood to wake up. But I mean, the amount of fucking booze and weed he consumed at night and how late he went to bed, I'm not surprised it was difficult for him to fucking wake up. But I don't know, man. That's kind of, there's so much to be shared about him, and there are so many people that have stories that haven't spoken on him. And I hope that happens. You know, I hope the gatekeepers do that. Did Michelle bang? Michelle A? Michelle. I don't know who Michelle is. If that's what you said, Michelle. Yeah, man. Anyway, I don't know. I guess I could keep this rolling for a minute until it cuts off next to my kid's school, but it's crazy. Later, and dude still is spellbinding, you know? I remember like it was yesterday. Anyway, I'm gonna shoot. Where did you shoot? Hit him up. Hit him up was. Did I meet Yaki Gaddafi? Of course I met Yaki Gaddafi. He was one of the fucking outlaws. Uh, anyway, all right. Y'all be safe. Keep it west. I'll do this again. Don't forget, when things go wrong, don't go wrong with them. Peace.